The Supreme Court just went nuts today. Like, just tons of decisions are coming down. I'm going to go over all of them with you. I'm also going to be intersplicing between many of these major decisions. Trump's day of prayer at bringing back faith, bringing back the Bible into America. Giant, incredible quotes on that. It ends up actually going into the foundation of our country, which the Supreme Court also deals with. So welcome to Doug In Exile. Shout out to the Quad Club coming up. This is the third of 4. Hope you're on board. Hope you're watching. And then you'll be informed, better informed than all your friends on the news. I'm just trying to bring you the major results. If you can make it through the next 3 minutes, it's a longer episode, but 3 minutes, I'll give you the full overview of the Supreme Court real quick right here on Google. Watch this. Watch how quick we do this. Here we go. The Supreme Court lifts limits on roving immigration patrols in the LA area. So they were trying to limit Trump's ICE and other immigration facilities in LA. They lifted it, giving Trump his way. That's a good victory. Supreme Court lets Trump administration resume sweeping immigration stops in Los Angeles area. That's from CBS with the same news article on that. Here's the Washington Post. Chief Justice allows Trump to fire a Democratic FTC commissioner for now. We're going to get to that later in this episode. So he's allowed to go on. This is one of the Doge fixes of a complete lunatic that he needed to fire, and they're allowing the president to do his presidential duties. CNN, Supreme Court allows Trump to continue roving ICE patrols in California. Again, that's the 4th time that's shown up. Here's the New York Times. Trump administration again asked Supreme Court to let it block foreign aid. They're trying again, and I believe this one will go through in Trump's favor to allow him to not have to, even though it's been set aside by Congress or set aside in the past under Biden, that Trump's allowed to stop that foreign aid payment. Here's ABC 7 Los Angeles. Supreme Court lifts restrictions on LA immigration. We already saw that one. Here's LA Times. Supreme Court upholds roving patrols. Here's Reuters next. U.S. Supreme Court backs Trump on aggressive immigration rates. So the media is going nuts on Trump being allowed to have his ICE agents and Border Patrol agents conduct more sweeping deportations in the L.A. area. Those are the major headlines on the Supreme Court today. I have a few other ones picked out that I actually am going to read the documents to you. Here's one from CNN just now.
There's breaking news coming into the Situation Room right now. The U.S. Supreme Court has just ruled in favor of President Trump's effort to allow ICE officials to continue what's called roving patrols in Southern California.
And that was already covered by 7 of those headlines. I just told you CNN is only just now catching up to those of us in exile. But wait, we'll get back to more Supreme Court stuff. I just wanted to show you guys Pam Bondi's cool intro to the day of prayer because she's a godly woman. And people, the devil wants her undermined. That's my opinion on it. I actually think, I don't get why lies are told about this incredible woman. There's never evidence behind it. There's never a reason behind it. There's a whole lot of internet rumors and all that going, oh, she's a traitor because she said she had the Epstein files on her desk and she didn't. And literally every single Republican made the same mistake, including Bongino and Trump. But everyone's a coward. They won't go after Trump, so they go after Pam Bondi, a pretty blonde lady. She did nothing wrong. Here she is on the day of faith.
Our founders believed every individual has the right to worship freely without fear of their own government. No one knows this better than President Trump. Under his leadership, we have dropped FASAC cases against pro-life Christians, stopped the FBI from spying on Catholics, launched multiple investigations into anti-Semitism in schools, and we are aggressively prosecuting vicious crimes against Jewish Americans.
So whether if you're a Christian or a Jew or a Catholic, Trump's got your back. And you know what I mean? We can disagree. The Jews and I can disagree. Catholics and I can disagree. The country does not take a position and start allowing oppression of Jews, Catholics, and Protestants. That is not part of the American statement. So this is going to kind of hold hands with a lot of our constitutional law. Here's some good news from, I always like, it's miraculous when Chief Justice Roberts comes out on the wrong side of something. So I guess this does tie into the day of faith. Here's Daily Caller breaking. Chief Justice Roberts issues an order allowing Trump to fire this FTC member Rebecca Slaughter. Your name is Rebecca Slaughter? Slaughter, a Democrat, duh, is a former longtime aide to Chuck Schumer, and Trump is allowed to fire fire her on principle. Here's more from Trump. Trump is pleased to announce the U.S. government will soon issue new guidance on prayer in school. Now, this one's is big Supreme Court territory. There's a lot in my audience that don't believe in prayer in school. They're going, which God do we pray to? We're going to allow prayer in school? Which God do we pray to? So we're going to forbid, make it outlaw all prayer in school. And you just now created a government establishment of atheism, removing religion from all public sentiment. You now, in trying to avoid a theocracy, you've created an atheocracy. Of course you can pray in schools. I'm sorry, there's people that disagree with it. You've been brainwashed, guys. Who do you think is behind that? Is it liberal media? Do you think it's liberal media? Because it's not MAGA. When you act like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, you're a duck. If you repeat every Democrat talking point, including forbidding prayer in schools, think about it is all. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to get you to think. When have the Democrats ever been right? They're a secular, progressive, anti-religion, anti-Christian, anti-Jew, anti-Catholic movement. Here's Trump.
For most of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation. Yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. Joining us this morning is Hannah Allen from Honey Grove, Texas. A few years ago, Hannah organized a group of her classmates to pray for an injured peer. The school principal declared that Hannah's generous act of love was prohibited from taking place in front of the other students. To support students like Hannah, I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection.
Listen to this audience. The audience goes completely nuts here. By the way, that's the loudest standing ovation. And look at Trump there. Even he's surprised. Remember, it wasn't that the girl prayed. It's that she prayed in front of her peers. So the principal is saying, oh, you can pray. You have to shut up. You can't do it in public. That is against America's founding creed. If you are also repeating that bad argument, it is time to change that bad argument, okay? If I say, we have a right to protest. You have a right to protest. You have a right to pray in public in America. You're allowed to go out in public and say, I'm against that, or I am for that. And I even protect your opinion to say, I don't agree with prayer. You have a right to say it. Now we're going to get on that because that standing ovation, this bad argument against prayer in school just makes me sick because it's been repeated oftentimes by Republicans and libertarians like Rand Paul and Thomas Massey. It's an atheocracy. You can't give a reason for it. And people go like, what about the Muslim faith? I don't care about the Muslim faith. I do believe in protecting moderate Muslim expression, but I'm not willing to throw Christianity under the bus to try to protect Islam. Sorry, I defend prayer of my religion, and it has been there all the time, going all the way back with the founders. They never forbid the public expression of prayer or the public expression of religion. They knew better. So people use bad arguments like, what about Islam? I don't care. You can stop Islam. Don't stop Christianity. Don't stop prayer. I'm not willing to throw the truth under the bus for a lie. Here's another look at that standing ovation. I just want to show you this room. That's all of Trump's cabinet, all of the major thinkers on this issue, and the entire audience when he said he was relooking at the Department of Education's view on prayer. Look at this standing ovation. Trump is shocked. Everyone in the room. Oh, there's one guy sitting down there with headphones on, but he's part of media, so of course he's sitting down. He's a Democrat. Are you a Democrat? Do you agree with him? No, they're standing up.
See what you did, Hannah? Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen, right? Thank you.
Who knew that was going to happen? It was not planned the way that standing ovations are planned by Democrats and atheists. It was spontaneous. Here, let's get back to the Supreme Court in a 6-3 decision. This is Greg Price. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court pauses a lower court ruling that had prohibited the Trump administration from conducting roving immigration arrests in Los Angeles. This one was very interesting because it actually names Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security et al., Pedro Vasquez Perdomo, on application for a stay. So they're going to let him. The application for stay presented to Justice Kagan, leftist, appointed by Obama, and by her referred to the court is granted. Next up, Fox News, 12-year-old boy who fought back against his school. Now, this one is a really cute, really encouraging thing. He fought his school on the trans issue, and he got bullied. But watch Trump be in service helping this boy out at the microphone.
Hi, I'm Shane Cias. I've been a Christian my whole life, and Jesus means everything to me. When I was in 5th grade...
Did you see that? Trump fixed his microphone. Trump is now the tech guy. Here, let me fix your microphone.
Shane Cias. I've been a Christian my whole life, and Jesus means everything to me. When I was in 5th grade, my school forced me to teach my kindergarten buddy about changing his gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. The book said you could...
Okay, everyone's against schools pushing prayer. Your schools for 10 years have been pushing this kid, Christians, to push the trans ideology on their fellow students. And no leftist, no atheist, no one came in and said, hey, we shouldn't do that. They're all for indoctrination in public schools. And I'm just saying, hey, let them indoctrinate for Christianity. You did it to us for 10 years. No one did anything. So don't have a cow, don't have a period. A man having a period now that Christianity says, hey, let's get rid of this. This kid was bullied for being a Christian by the public state. He should sue.
And choose your gender based on feelings instead of how God made us. I knew this was not right, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. After my family spoke up, the school treated us badly, and kids started bullying me and my brother because of our faith. And the school did nothing to stop it. It hurt a lot.
That's how Democrats do it, guys. They would stop it. If you bullied another student for being black, they'd come out with sirens on. You bully another student about their faith because they oppose transgenderism or will not teach it, the school does nothing. That's how this works. Two-tiered justice system. That's how you oppress a Christian. On anything that promotes Democrat values, you go nuts on it. If it's a Republican getting the crud beaten out of him, it's a girl getting stabbed on a subway or stabbed on a train. If it's anything remotely white, Christian, pro-West, pro-conservatives, and pro-family, it's open season according to Democrats. That's what I despise about it. Is so unfair.
Stop it. It hurt a lot, but I kept trusting God. I believe kids like me should be able to live our faith at school without being forced to go against what we believe. I hope no other family has to go through what mine did. Thank you.
There you go. Trump gives him a hearty handshake. That was a clear-thinking, good kid. And Trump administration represents a reversal of all that evil oppression that was coming down from Biden and Kamala Harris. It would have massively expanded, guys. You don't understand. I think you do understand, actually. My audience does. I understand and you understand the cultural shift that happened when Trump won the election. It destroyed the Democrat narrative. And to a point that though Trump may be a very crude man. I've heard him say the F word all the time from the microphone. He's not as evil as what the Democrats and what liberal Christians who do not use the F word, they're far more evil for what they allowed, including child sex trafficking. Here's Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, "Thank you, President Trump, for supporting my Protect Children's Innocence Act, which is finally passed out of the Judiciary Committee. This is where the government has officially stopped the public funding of trans operations."
On day one of my administration, I signed an executive order to slash federal funding for any school that pushes transgender insanity on our youth.
There's another one that went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is continuing to defend Trump.
We also banned the chemical and surgical mutilation of our children.
Big cheers. Oh, there's another standing ovation. Look at this. big. Did any Democrats come to this faith thing, or were they afraid? It's like the witch in Wizard of Oz when you throw a bucket of water on her. They're like, prayer. Get out of the room. Here's U.S. Supreme Court lifts order blocking sweeping ICE raids across L.A. That's yet another article on the same thing. Here's Trump. You hear about anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic, but you don't hear about anti-Christian. He's ending anti-Christian bias in the country, as it should have been. Long time ago, guys. We've been living under this since like the late 60s, early 70s, of atheistic, anti-Christian bull caca from our government.
And I created the first ever Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias.
We put Pam Bondi in charge of it. Yeah, don't feel biased against it.
And for those people that are a little bit naive or not well read, there is a tremendous anti-Christian bias. We don't hear about it. We don't think of it.
Yeah, maybe some of you are kind of slow and dumb if you haven't heard about it yet. It's about time people start talking about it. Did you know Christianity is the #1 most oppressed, discriminated against religion in the world? We have more martyrs every year killing Christians. Second place are Jews. #1, Christians. We have more lies told about us by the media than any other religion in the world, probably because we're true. We have more oppression in America by the Democrat Party, media, and universities than any other religion in the world. I mean, Jews get a lot of anti-Semitism, but you hear a lot about anti-Semitism. You never hear about anti-Christianity. You hear about Islamophobes. You never hear about Christophobes, homophobes. They're Christophobes. Here's President Trump. When faith gets weaker, our country gets weaker.
When faith gets weaker, our country seems to get weaker. When faith gets stronger, as it is right now, we're having a very good period of time. After some rough years, good things happen for our country. It's amazing the way it seems to work that way.
Yeah, because faith is the truth. Faith is a truth. Truths are immaterial. When you embrace faith and the truth, lo and behold, things go better because you stop living in a lie. Here's Josh Hawley over on Twitter. He says, because there's only one God, we allow no man or class of men to rule over us. That's the foundation of why we don't allow slavery. We don't allow peer pressure, peers. It's why I have the same amount of rights as Donald Trump, which you do not have in England, with the king. I have the exact same amount of rights as the most powerful person in America, by definition, because we're not God. So no man has the authority to step over another man. We rule ourselves together as equals. That is, and always has been, the American way. It's what makes us distinct from other countries. Here's Governor Abbott out of the press office in Texas. We believe in equal rights under the law for all men, women, and children. Any legal system that flouts human rights is banned in the state of Texas. Therefore, Sharia law and Sharia cities are banned in the state of Texas. That's a shot back against Islam. And if you don't push back at Islam, they will take over your country like the UK. Here's JD Vance.
I was talking with a friend recently, and we were talking about, one of the big dangers in the world, of course, is nuclear proliferation, though, of course, the Biden administration doesn't care about it. And I was talking about, what is the first truly Islamist country that will get a nuclear weapon? And we were like, maybe it's Iran, maybe Pakistan already kind of counts. And then we sort of finally decided maybe it's actually the UK, since Labour just took over.
It's UK will be the first Islamic country to get nuclear weapons. Everyone's predicting the takeover of UK. They're not reproducing. They're only importing Muslims. There you go. I was going to show you this Amy Coney Barrett quote. I'll just read it real quick because she says about the Dobbs decision that ended abortion. The central message of Dobbs did not render abortion illegal. Dobbs did not say anything about whether abortion is immoral. Dobbs said that these are questions that are left to the states, left to you and I. I don't believe it should be left to us. However, I get the principle. Wait, there's more. Here's Secretary Turner. HUD Secretary Turner led the prayer with that meeting with Trump.
Not only the HUD Secretary, you were also an associate pastor. And you say, under Donald Trump, faith is back in our government. Why is this important?
Well, as you know, we have a president that believes in the power of prayer.
Yeah, and we're going to pray, guys. Who's going to pray with President Trump? I'm talking to the atheists and the non-believers out there. I want to see if just in the name of MAGA, will you go, you know what? I'll say a prayer with Trump. Say a prayer for the country. Think about God. Say a prayer. Don't make up a God in your own head. C.S. Lewis used to say, God as you know yourself to be. I don't want to pray to a God that I make up. I want God as he knows himself to be. Look, here's the White House. As we prepare to celebrate 250 years of freedom, President Trump is inviting America's great faith communities to pray for our nation and our people. From the beginning, this has always been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer. This is officially from our White House, guys. America prays. I'm inviting the non-Christians in my audience to pray. It's not a joke. It's not a trick. I'm not manipulating anybody. I want you to pray with me for the country. Here's Caroline Leavitt, dissent, confident the Trump administration will win in the Supreme Court on tariffs. That's our final tariff note. It's still being argued in the Supreme Court. That's one we could pray for right there, that Trump's tariffs go through and is protected by the Supreme Court. And I just thank you guys for listening, for letting me make the case. I'm going to try to get on to even more news tonight for the 4th episode. Be sure to leave a comment below and subscribe and pray. Lord, bring this country to repentance. Lord, strengthen the things that remain. I'm Doug in Exile.